Enforcement officials tell CBS News the shooting was an ambush attack. The suspect, who was shot 4 times, is in the hospital and in custody at this hour. The victims are National Guardsmen from West Virginia. In a tweet, Governor Patrick Morrisey called those guardsmen brave. And just moments ago, FBI Director Kash Patel and Washington, D.C. officials gave an update on the shooting. Here's some of what he had to say.
We're here to brief you on the tragic events that happened today at approximately 2:15 local time in Washington, D.C., where 2 of our brave members of the National Guard and the Department of War were brazenly attacked in a horrendous act of violence. They were shot. They're in critical condition. As you can see behind me, we have assembled the full force of both the federal and state and local law enforcement agencies to bring bear all of our resources to make sure we find the perpetrators responsible for this heinous act. And make no mistake, they will be brought to justice. Since this is an assault on a federal law enforcement officer, this will be treated at the federal level as an assault on a federal law enforcement officer. The FBI will lead out on that mission with our interagency partners, to include the Department of Homeland Security, Secret Service, ATF, DEA, and we're thankful for the mayor's assistance in this matter, the Metropolitan Police Department and their skills in investigating homicides and gun shootings in this city is exceptional. We will work together collaboratively because this is a matter of national security, because it's a matter of pride. President Trump has been informed. We've been in contact with the White House. We will shortchange the American public with no resources to make sure we find and safeguard our nation's capital right here in Washington, D.C., and bring anyone responsible for this heinous act of violence to justice. I would lastly like to add to the American public and the world, please send your prayers to those brave warriors who are in critical condition and their families. They are here serving our country. They are here protecting everyday Americans and citizens around the world in our nation's capital. They are the heroes of this day, and we must remember them on this day and every day, and their families and the sacrifice they have made. I will now turn it over to Chief Carroll of the Metropolitan Police Department. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeff Carroll. I'm the Executive Assistant Chief here at the Metropolitan Police Department. At approximately 2:15 this afternoon, members of the D.C. National Guard were on high visibility patrols in the area of 17th and I Street Northwest, when a suspect came around the corner, raised his arm with a firearm, and discharged it at the National Guard members. The National Guard members, there were other members that were in the area. They were able to, after some back and forth, able to subdue the individual and bring them into custody. Within moments, members of law enforcement in the area were also able to assist and bring that individual into custody. At this time, as the director mentioned, the National Guard members are being treated at a local hospital. DC Fire and EMS responded to the scene to provide first aid for those individuals and transport them to a local hospital. The suspect in this case was also transported for treatment at a local hospital. Madam Mayor.
Such a brazen act right before Thanksgiving. The chief there again saying he raised his arm with a firearm and discharged at National Guard's members. I want to turn now to CBS News Homeland Security correspondent Nicole Sganga, who is at that news conference listening in as well. Nicole, what more can you tell us at this hour?
Jerika, the scene took place just hundreds of feet behind where I am standing here, just 2 blocks north of the north lawn of the White House, and we're learning new details about that chaotic scene that played out just around 2:15 p.m. near a metro station here in downtown D.C. Of course, we heard from officials just moments ago that 2 members of the National Guard remain in critical condition. We know that at least one of them was medevaced to a local hospital, both there now. The suspect also at an area hospital, also sustaining injuries. We are told that is the extent of the injuries at this time. But senior federal law enforcement officers also telling CBS News that at this time there is believed to be no nexus to the White House or the president, despite the close proximity at which this all played out to the People's House. And we should say I was here just moments after this all happened, and the federal law enforcement presence here here on the scene was enormous, with U.S. Secret Service descending within moments alongside other members of the National Guard who were on what's called high visibility patrol when all of this happened. It was those National Guard members that were able to subdue the suspect here, and federal law enforcement sources telling me that that suspect had a handgun on him at that time. That is the weapon that he raised that you heard law enforcement talking about there. But within moments, other law enforcement members responding from the Metropolitan Police Department, and they were joined shortly thereafter by the U.S. Secret Service, the U.S. Marshal Service, and ATF, all of them coming onto the scene. Now, moving forward, because this is an attack on a federal, is being treated as an attack on federal law enforcement officials, even though the National Guard is something a little bit different. The FBI will lead this investigation along with the Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah, Kash Patel mentioning how serious they are taking this matter. Nicole Sganga, thank you so much. Senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang is also with us. Weijia, remind us of why the National Guard is even in Washington, D.C. to begin with.
Order from President Trump to activate these members of the National Guard as part of what he described as a crime-fighting mission. He often talked about the crime here in the nation's capital, along with gang violence, and so he brought in members from at least 8 states as part of a task force. And really, they are staged all across the city, but in particular in federal parks, at subways, where this unfolded just blocks away from the White House, and anywhere there is high traffic. And Jerika, I can tell you that this is certainly an area that has so many people because of its proximity to the White House, because it is a major metro stop. And so it was part of a broader effort, you may remember, too, that the president wanted to deploy these members to major cities. Of course, we saw that unfold in Los Angeles, in Memphis, Tennessee. He also attempted to do it in other cities as well. But just yesterday, President Trump talked about their presence here at an event at the White House. He said they were doing an incredible job and thanked them for their service, Jerika. So he takes a lot of pride in having these members here, even though it has been controversial. In fact, the D.C. Attorney General has filed a lawsuit that is ongoing, saying that that order from President Trump was not a legal one because he doesn't have the authority to intervene in local law enforcement. And that case is ongoing, Jerika.
And speaking of the White House, Secretary Pete Hegseth just announced that the president plans to order even more troops to the nation's capital as a result of what happened today.
That's right. Secretary Hegseth spoke about this attack, and while he was addressing it, said that the president has asked him to deploy about 500 additional members of the National Guard to Washington, D.C., and Hegseth says he will be in touch with the Army in order to implement that. And we know already that there are about 2,000 members here, and just this month, the order was extended to have them present through the end of February. And here in Washington, D.C., it is the D.C. National Guard that has the biggest presence. And then after that, the state of West Virginia. Of course, we know now that the 2 victims in today's attack are from that state.
Yeah, definitely praying for their families in that community. Weijia Jiang, thank you. I want to go back to Nicole Sganga. You have some new numbers on targeted and ambush-style attacks on officers, Nicole?
Absolutely, Jerika. And we know that the 2 victims in today's attacks were, as we just stated, members of the National Guard from West Virginia. But just to put this in context for our viewers so they understand what a sort of law enforcement is up against and what the threat environment has been like over the past several months and year. According to the National Fraternal Order of Police, as of October 31st, there have been 285 officers shot in the line of duty, 38 of them killed. There have been 58 ambush-style attacks against members of law enforcement during that time, including 19 of whom were killed. We've done a lot of reporting in this space, and we also know that the Department of Homeland Security has been sounding the alarm on this threat environment, and law enforcement officials coming under a magnifying glass From January 21st, 2024 through November 21st, 2024, there were just 19 reported assaults against ICE law enforcement. That same number 1 year later, 238 reported assaults, just to give you a sense of what officers are up against and that threatened environment that they are facing when they are patrolling the streets of America.
You know, they never know what they're going to face each and every day. Nicole Sganga, Weijia Jiang, thank you all so much. Once again, 2 West Virginia National Guardsmen are injured after an ambush shooting just blocks away from the White House. A suspect who was shot 4 times is in custody and in the hospital. Our coverage will continue on CBS News 24/7.